Hello and welcome back to Learning Left-Handed. I've been doing this a while now. This is our 82nd episode, I believe. And I just want to let you guys know that I really do enjoy making these. And a lot of people in my profession get very bored or just want to do it for a year just to prove they can. But a lot of things have happened to me this year. A lot of good things and a couple of bad. But doing this every week from whichever country I am in at that time brings a lot of joy. So I want to give you a big thank you to all the positive messages that I've been receiving the last few weeks. It honestly makes my day reading them. Now, as I've waffled on for a whole minute now, let's begin. This is episode 82 of Learning Left-Handed. The first thing we're going to be talking about today is one of the 48 laws of power. This is law number 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. To choose your victims and opponents carefully and then never offend or deceive the wrong person. Because I'm not saying lying doesn't have its uses, because it does. A lot of parents say it doesn't, but it has its uses. Little white lies and so forth. Now, saying this, you have to learn who not to lie to. Because you've got to remember there's a big difference between opponents, suckers, and victims. If you see an arrogant and proud person, run away from them because they will make your life a living hell. Now, if you're the hopelessly insecure person, don't piss him off because they will use all of that energy to attack you physically, psychologically, mentally, and all the clees you can think of. Next, the suspicious guy. Play on that suspicious nature of his to get him to turn against other people or just simply to turn towards you. Not against you, but towards you. Next time you see someone who's a snake, you either crush them beneath your boot or keep them out of sight. And finally, the plain person. He will waste time, energy, resources, and test you. He is too literal to be aware of how annoying that person is. Now, what you've got to keep in mind here is just make sure you can determine who you are actually dealing with at the time, which is very difficult, admittedly, at the best of times. But I find reading particular psychology books helps with that particular pastime. Now, what do you guys think? I don't often ask this question, but what do you guys think? What do you think you are? Are you the arrogant, the insecure, the suspicious, the serpent, or the plain? Leave a comment down below what you think you are, and see if you can guess what I am. Okay, that was part 1. We're going to go on to part 2 now, which has been a very successful series. You guys are seeming to be in love, which is essential marketing workflows. You guys seem to be loving this series. Honestly, I wish there was more, but we are on part 4 of 5. So, let's begin, shall we? Online PR. First things you got to do is conduct an audit of current media coverage, aka where are you talking at the moment? Where are you at the moment? Like, for example, with this podcast, we are on Google Podcasts, we are on Spotify, and we are back on our YouTube channel, which is the White Viking YouTube channel. Go check it out. I also put some of my home videos from my trail cam on there. I highly recommend you check out them. So, for example, set goals. For example, when I first started doing this podcast, I wanted a goal of having 100 listeners a week. Well, we're now at 2,500 listeners. It is brilliant. I love it. We're looking for more sponsors. So if you know anyone, literally anyone, come give us a shout and we'll do it for you, obviously. Then you've got to determine your audience. So my audience, in this case, most of you, are men in your 30s and 20s. There is a lot of other ones out there, but you guys make up around, I believe it's 52% now. So just over the majority. Next, 4. ID the interested and influential people. What this basically means is if there is an important person in our ranks, which I hope there is, because, all of you are important, don't get me wrong, make sure you got to find that person. Number 5, define key messaging. Okay, how are you going to talk to this person? Okay, think about that. Next, number 6, develop pitch. This is basically saying, well, what's the script? What we're going to say to this person? After that, follow up with targets, aka other people. Like you give them a little bit of space, and you come back to them saying, "Hey, we still want you to work with us. Are you interested?" And then after that, number 8, assess results and set new goals. What this means, and I do say this means you've got to realise that A, if your results are feasible or not, and B, whether or not, well, you're actually going to accomplish them. Because a lot of people put unrealistic results, they want to sell trillions in the first 2 weeks. Like, you're not going to get that. You're going to get 100 if you're lucky. You might do well and sell out in one day, which is good. I hope you do. But you never know. Brings to mind a little story of my childhood. When I was young, in 14, 15, I ran the school tuck shop, or the equivalent of it. And I made a lot of money doing it, admittedly. It took a lot of work, a lot of patience, very heavy bag. Yeah, people made fun of me for doing it, but I didn't care. They were still coming to buy cakes and shit off of me at the end of the day, so who won? I think I did. Okay, let's go on to our last part of today, which is the ever-popular TikTok series, where I and my team find useful TikToks for you guys to use. Okay, first things first. Now, this one has been widely requested for me to talk about for a long time now, and I honestly agree. It's a good thing that we talk about. So anyway, this is how to find the manual for anything. So the idea is you go onto this website, you put in either the name of it or like a barcode or post, not the postcode, is it, silly? You put in basically the barcode numbers or the name of it, and the manual for it should come up. It's called manualslib.com. That's manualslib.com. Now, we talk about a lot of books on this show. More or less a third of our work comes from these legendary books that we keep reading, which I hope you guys have been enjoying. One of them was Lessons from How to Win Friends and Influence People. Okay, this is just a tiniest summary of it we could find. One of my team thought it'd be useful to put this on there. So, listen to this. The world is full of grabbing and self-seeking individuals. The rare individual who unselfishly tries to serve others has an advantage. When we are not engaged in thinking about some definite problem, we are usually spend about 95% thinking about ourselves. To be interesting, be interested. Ask questions that people enjoy answering, so you will encourage them to talk about themselves. Well, if there's not a series in that, I definitely think there is. To change someone's behaviour, act as though you try to influence is already one of the person's characteristics. It's an interesting paradox that the more you surrender the credit for something you've done, the more memorable you'll become. Basically, that means if you said, "Oh yeah, I did that," or "Oh no, I didn't do that," more people will remember that I didn't do that. Okay, lots of you people have been telling me that you've been burnt out recently, or think you are. So our team got together, and we found this, which is 5 signs that you are burnt out. Okay, you procrastinate a lot, that's the first one. You isolate yourself. People are getting on your nerves a heck of a lot. You have difficulty sleeping, and you're turning to addictive behaviours for comfort. What this means is you're doing less, you're eating more, you're being a little bit of an arse, and people need to tell you, hey, you're being an arse. But obviously you're distancing from people, so that's a wee bit difficult. So I'm telling you, you're being an arse. Okay, next. Now, this is apparently a thing at the moment that everyone is trying to learn a second language, at least a lot of people in my social sphere. So this is life tips number 72. If you want to learn a new language, figure out the 100 most frequently used words first. Learn them, understand them, conjugate them, use them. Next, a lot of people are, being paid to write Twitter posts lately. I highly recommend that you have a look at this, but basically you go onto DeepDAO. DeepDAO is the company. You join their Discords for open call-outs for various things, and then transform it in Unitswap.org to ETH and then cash. Basically, they're paying you in ETH to write a Twitter post for them. And then they'll pay you, and then you can transfer that into cash in Unitswap.org. And then finally, if you're trying to stop falling asleep, keep 1 foot elevated. That actually works. I've tried that. Rub vegetable oil on hands after cutting spicy pepper. So obviously it doesn't hurt as much. Oh, and the ever popular, if you're in a car crash, or a male friend of yours in a car crash, check if he is erected, because if he is, it means he has a spinal injury. So do not touch him, okay? Anyway. Well, on that cheerful, happy note, I wanted to say a big thank you to everyone listening in Spain, England, and weirdly a lot of people in America for the last couple of weeks, so thank you very much for that. And we had the first person in, I believe, it was Zambia today. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it and share it with your friends, everyone. Remember, and I always say this, thank you for learning left-handed.